Hi, my name's Emily Cerda. I'm a microbiome specialist here with Tiny Health. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the gut microbiome, the microbiome breakdown and the gut type here in your patient results. So I'm starting out right where you land when you click to view your patient results on this main results page. Over to the right, you are going to see an area that says microbiome breakdown, and there's a clickable link there, and then type, and that will list the gut type. You can also see the breakdown of the gut just at a glance. And this individual has less than 1% unfriendly microbes, 50% beneficial, the green. Variable is at 36%. Those variables are like commensals. They are necessary for our microbiome function at low levels. They're the ones that can get overabundant occasionally, and when they do, they're no longer friendly for us. So that's why we call them variable. They're friendly sometimes at the right level, and then not if they're not. And then unknown here is 13%. And unknown species are in our database. I will show you some of them. Some of them only have gene names. They don't even have bacterial names yet. And science doesn't really know the like how to categorize these or the functions of them quite yet. So we'll click in here. So this is where I'm going to click into. This is a very data rich area, one of my favorite places in the test. So here at the top, you're going to have this patient's gut type. So this patient has a type Lactospiraceae, and we can see here the Lactospiraceae is at about 34.5%, and that does take up the majority of the percentages compared to the other genus of bacteria in this individual's gut. So that's why this is considered their gut type, because it's the major genera. Down below, you can click more and you can read about this individual's gut type. So Lactospiraceae, you can see what bacteria really dominate this and what it's great at, which is digesting some fibers and creating some butyrate, which is a wonderful gut type to have. So below the gut type, you will find the microbiome breakdown. And this is a really powerful place to look. Here we can see that this individual has resampled. So at a glance, you can see unfriendly bacteria, and you can see what it is. This will list what it is currently, and you can kind of see at a glance what it used to be. So this person had a little increase in their variable species compared to last time, and also an increase in their unknowns. Um, but this will show you at a glance, and then down below, you will be able to see all of the species in the individual's gut, starting from the biggest population down to the smallest population. If I were to scroll all the way down to our sensitivity of 0.005%. So in here, I'd like to point out a couple things. First, we are in the species view when you first click in here, and you will notice that these have yellow dots. Those yellow dots are telling you the type of bacteria they are. So here they're variable. They're commensals, great at low levels, not great at high levels. So one thing that I do like to consider, because obviously we're not looking at just one section of the test when we're looking at our patient results, is that these three, I know that this ruminococcus is overgrown. Where you're going to find that information is if you go back to the results page, you look in all metrics, and then you come down to the balance and robustness section. Okay, the balance and robustness section is where you're going to get the readout of what might be overabundant. Okay, so I really look at these two things together. Here we can see Ruminococcus navis is overabundant, but those other things that we saw that were variable microbes, they are not. This is the only thing overabundant in this gut. So if I go back to the results page and go back into my microbiome breakdown, when I'm looking at these, I know this one is a little bit too big. When it's overabundant, You can click into the down arrow. You can do this on any of these, but this one in particular, because it is overabundant, and you can see what high levels of this bacteria are related to. You'll be able to see some associations down below, and of course, the research that you can link to. So this is important as we start to consider how we're going to shift the microbiome. And the fact that the Ruminococcus navis here, it is overabundant, but it is a commensal. So we can't use an antimicrobial against that. We need to just crowd it down by building diversity and helping with the other microbial balance in the gut. Another thing to notice here is that you can shift into looking at things at the genus level, the family, or the phylum level. You can also come back out to species, and let's see, somebody has a history of having a Prevotella copri overgrowth. You can come and you can look, you can search. So feel free to do that. It's really helpful if you've had people with repeat tests, or maybe they've had an overabundance of something else in the past, or you're just curious. Maybe there's a family history of something and you've learned about a bacteria that might be linked. You can go in and search the bacteria and it will come up with everything in their gut down to that 0.005%. Okay, I think the last thing I want to show you here is that in the microbiome breakdown, you can also sort. So let's say we only wanted to look at unfriendly microbes. I can unclick these others. And at a glance, you can look just to see who the unfriendly species are. I get a kick out of the unknowns. So we can do the same thing with the unknowns. Again, I don't know why we do that because we don't know much about these, these species, but I think they're neat. So anyway, I hope this is really helpful as far as looking at your patient's gut type and then also the microbiome breakdown and where to kind of cross-reference for this microbiome breakdown to make sure that these top species are not actually overabundant. And that, remember, they're just yellow, not because of the level of bacteria, but because they are variable species. All right. If you need further assistance in the practitioner resources view, we do have a practitioner portal walkthrough that kind of walks through everything in the test. I hope this was helpful.